Hey, I'm Kev, welcome back to MotoGP 19. Has Kev Stone, he's been very consistent to start the year. He sits in fourth in the championship, but it's the top three who are pulling away from him of Yuki Kuni, is that how you say it? David Salazar and Carlos Tatai separated by just a single point, those three, while Stone is trying to pull away from the Japanese rider and the rest. So let's see if you can break that stronghold at the front round the classic TT circuit Assen in the Netherlands. As before we go there, got to mess with these again. So we might do this, just have a pure weekend setup. So for the Saturday, have free practice and qualifying, and then just a race on the Sunday. Starting to think that is the way to go, and it gives us time to just test out the track, test out the bike as well. So before we go on to the track, we should actually check out our settings then. So for suspension, we've got a low rear suspension, and then for the single shot, we've got a low front rebound, it looks like. Was it low rebound? And again, for spring hardness, just low on the rear. I wonder if we have to adjust that for the front as well. And then steering, gear ratio. Gear ratio seems to be the only thing that's really correct. And then for brake system, we haven't changed around with the brake pads, but we might have to do that. Should we go for the more powerful brakes? Or do we go with the larger brakes? Oh, the smaller ones, oh no, give less power, but can you give us smoother braking? No, let's just stick with that. Then ECU, that is totally off, as expected. Then tyres, as you can see, only got... I do like this for the whole weekend allocation. We've got 6 tyres. So if we did all of the practice sessions, did warm-up as well, we'd actually be quite close for the race. What tyres we could use, especially when you go to Moto3, Moto2, MotoGP with the multiple qualifying sessions as well. So let's see what we can do with the guided setup.
And engineers surrounding a rider. He must be giving the team feedback on how the bike feels.
Keith, stop interrupting me. It's like I'm watching BT Sport again, okay? If you didn't know, Keith Ewan was a former Grand Prix motorcycle racer and then became a commentator in the 90s alongside June Ryder for the World Superbike Championship when Carl Fogarty was dominating. Then June Ryder went to Eurosport alongside Tony Moody and Randy Mamola for that legendary MotoGP commentary team. Man, I wish they were all together again. I wish Tony Moody actually came back to motorcycle racing. He seems to be doing all of these events. He's commentating on Goodwood now. He did the Global Rallycross. He's done lots of things, Toby Moody. He's even done some BTCC, British Touring Car Championship commentating as well, I remember. So straights we don't need to bother about. But yeah, I wish those three had stuck together. But then when Eurosport lost the rights, it went to... Well, when BBC lost the rights with Eurosport, it went to BT Sport, and that's where Keith Ewan's come back as a commentator alongside June Ryder. But then June Ryder retired a couple of years ago, so now he's alongside, I think, Neil Hodgson in the races. I don't know. I've got the video pass now. Those commentators are actually really good, rather than Keith Ewan and whoever he's got alongside him, say Neil Hodgson, who's a good kind of analyst. Neil Hodgson, like, he's a good interviewer, but in the commentary box, from the few races I've seen of him alongside Keith Ewan, maybe not the best, but again, I haven't watched many races on BT Sport. But yeah, Keith Ewan used to be, he knows his bikes, shall we say. I actually first got to see him when I had Sky, and actually for IndyCar racing, when they got the rights back in 2003, I think it was 2004, when Dan Weldon joined the series. I remember him hosting that alongside Johnny Molan. God, that was a great duo. Keith Ewan, even though he's just a presenter, he was actually a good presenter. Rather because he didn't really know IndyCar racing, I would say, but he was good at setting up Johnny Molan to explain everything. So, and Johnny Molan had raced with the likes of Dan Weldon, etc. beforehand. So he kind of had some good insight as well, Johnny Molan. And he was a decent race car driver as well until he retired a couple of years ago, from what I remember. But anyway, enough rambling. Let's talk about setup. So, main issue is braking into the corners. Because the brakes, yeah, they do not seem to be... I'm not sure if it's as effective. I've noticed I have to use the rear brake a bit more. So, corner entry. So, going for deceleration. It's not wobbling, it's just sliding. And so to make the bike more stable, reduce the rear wheel side, you must increase the weight of the bike on the rear end and lighten the rear damper. So that's going to be pretty important around Assen, which is, traditionally a fast circuit. It definitely has been tightened up in years. I remember the last major upgrade was around 11, 12 years ago to the circuit to its current configuration. And then they've tightened up some corners since then as well. So it'll be interesting to see how we go around here. Has anybody gone out onto the track? Riders have. So top time 1:53.9. And everyone 1.3 seconds ahead of the rest. Let's look at the separation in time. So it's around 5 seconds for the field. So it doesn't actually look that too messed up at the moment. I know it's second separating a spec series when you see like Moto3 field separated by a second or two, but yeah, it's better than it is when we accelerate or fast forward. So let's stick with this. Let's go out. Let's settle up. Let's see what we can do. I'm still holding down Y as well. Yeah, brakes are working well. So I wonder if the animations are kind of automatic now then. I'm guessing they are. Like they were with Isle of Man TT. Like Killaton did. It's all a bit wide. So 53.9 is our target time. And let's show you that round Assen. Well, pour that round Assen. That's gone a bit wide there. But it's double right. You've got the cam momentum. You've just basically got to roll the throttle through the corners. Oh, they're wide. Into the hairpin. As I said, you've got to roll on the throttle. You've got to roll on the brakes as well. Like, you don't have to be... It's a good passing spot, maybe, to catch someone out. And then the fast sweep is flat out right. Fairly slow through the left. That's a good sector for us. Oh, normally there's camber there that helps us get into the A-bits. I didn't really feel it on this occasion. Not sure if that's changed, maybe. And then into the left. Using all of the track on the exit. And then the devilish double right. If your tyres are hurting in the race, you'll feel it here. So go down the inside of someone. And then flat out as Tyler Scott has crashed. With these fast sweepers at the end of the lap, there's all Sacco gone down as well. No, we didn't need to brake into that corner. And then the final chicane again. Good part of the lap to do some desperate dives. As this could be right up there. It's quick as 53.2 as everyone is crashing out there. Let's do one more of that for practice then. I'm not going to show practice off like this, but we're down. So strangely, none of the times advanced because I just skipped to the end after that crash, and then 25 minutes afterwards. That's a bit worrying. But as you can see, the gaps are normal, apart from us being 6, almost 7 tenths ahead at the top. And the field spread, so 59.7 in last. That's pretty normal. From 10th down to 2.6 seconds separating them, then a bit of a gap. Then this second pack. Separated by just a couple of tenths up to 5th. And then we got the big 3. So by just a couple of tenths. And again, they're around a second and a half ahead. And then there's us. Just gate crashing it all. So, field spread seems normal. We'll see if that is the same in qualifying, where we will speed up time during the session.
Only a few minutes to go before we see the first bikes take to the track for that all-important qualifying session.
So we are out immediately. Again, very wide in the last chicane. I was saying the difference in braking actually is not that it's just worse to brake. Maybe it's just not the braking feel. Like, I'm not really feeling anything through the control at that moment. In regards to inclinations in the track surface when we're braking, until we do it way too much. Like, then I feel it when it's beyond the point of your control, basically, when you're sliding and crashing. That's all one of the tightest corners of the year, that hairpin. Perhaps the tightest. So yeah, maybe that's taken a step back, I'm not sure, because we don't even really feel it on the curves. Like, you see it all over the place, but that's a bit wide, that line. Oh, you don't feel it too much on the curves, like you definitely see it. But again, we don't feel that through the controller, so maybe I got the message from settings to get that vibration feel, but we do have on the highest point. And I remember that's something I was worried about in MotoGP 18 as well, that lack of braking feel compared to previous games. So I'm not sure if that's just part of the fixed adjustments that they've done. These games with the new Unreal Engine, well, I say new, it's not their second game, MotoGP on this engine for Milestone, but yeah, still feeling that. But again, we are just riding with the Rookies Cup bikes. Again, that could change with MotoGP as it's kind of cruising through the final chicane. We're going to be much quicker than practice, 52.3. And this is something a bit strange as well, because we've got 3 minutes remaining in the session. Less than half the field have set a time, as you can see, and we're 4.7 seconds faster than anyone, which is weird. So yeah, I'm not sure if, again, that's just something a bit weird that needs to be adjusted for opponents, because normally everyone's put at least a banker lap in by this point. And look at that gap, 4.7 seconds. Assen again a bit easier maybe. Should we do another lap, see how well we go, and then it's race time. So here we go then. Braking very hard into the final chicane. Bit wide. And we've got quite a few riders slowing down as well. We've got crashes going on. Hope that rider in front won't get in our way. He's a bit slow. So we go down the inside. Might have to adjust their levels because I can hear their engine much more than I can hear mine. So we'll try and get on the power. Kind of drifted right there. It's such a frustrating corner. It's so difficult to get right, especially in this field. I normally got to chuck the bike at it, but just like to have the brakes. So a quarter of a second up, but that was a poor section there. So a bit wide. Luckily we don't have strict tolerance on. We're going out, it's got to be out the window. That already. That's all, it's flat through there. Don't know why I lifted. So use all the curves. But look at this, smashing our previous that time. Again, don't know why I brake there, just need to lift. I said use lots of rear brake there. That final corner, this could be a 49, is it? No, 50.8. I swear I haven't touched any settings. We're on pole by 3 seconds. Ella Tatai. Where's Salvador? Down in 6th. What happened to him? See, he's one of the riders who set it up a bit early in the session. Didn't appear to set another one. So field spread 58.9. So let's go to 11th. 10. Yeah, field spread's okay up until 6th. Then you have that bit of that leap. And then it's like we had Japanese rider joining the Elite 3 there. But look at that gap, a second. Oh, and it looks like they kind of separated themselves. Then a second to Japanese rider and Tatai. And then I don't know what's happening. Maybe on a Moto2 bike by accident. Maybe that's what's happened.
Just a few minutes to go until the Grand Prix begins. Assen, the motorbike university, is once again ready to put everyone to the test.
So you are then. Revving it up. To get a decent start. And it's like Tatai's got ahead of us. Got someone on our inside as well. Braking a bit early. Into the first corner being pushed wide. So it looks like we're in 3rd. Let's recover the inside. But look at these riders going off track. I didn't realise we were allowed to dirt track. As well, someone rides into us. Bit wide of the inside of the hairpin. As we get into the top 3 again. Ahead of Salvador. So it's your usual top 3 with Tatai in 2nd. And it's like the Japanese riders leading the way. Just like he did in Mugello last time out. Now I have turned up the engine slightly. As well, Salvador having to let down our inside. Cheeky mongrel. And again. We got to drive off the corner, get past Tatai. On the defensive, turning into attack. It's all a bit wide. As we've got 7 laps here in Assen. Seems like I'm going to be taking 7 different configurations at the moment. It's feeding into the top 5 ahead of the Swiss rider. Let's see if it's a bit more competitive in the race then. Let's go through this far section at the end. Get beautiful slipstream. I mean, looks like we're going to take the lead, are we? Oh, he goes down our inside. How about into the final chicane? As we brake on the curbs. Good idea. Oh, a bit all over the place. Do we lead across the line? We do, just. 58.8 for Stone. Oh, he's got riders down his inside. That's a battle with the Japanese rider. So it seems like that final section's ours. This first section maybe not, as we get hit. Max Cook up to 18th ahead of Fernandez. There's lots of battling down the field as we're 1.1 seconds behind. Japanese rider who've got 4 tenths on Salvador. Tatai maybe going down our inside. As well, onto the dirt. Oh, and again. Down to 4th. Poor mistake. God, we're digging ourselves the hole here. Poor start. The mistake at one of the highest speeded corners on the circuit. You don't want to be doing that. Get on the curb, kissing the gravel and dirt and grass. We lost our way there. Stone with a chance for his first victory here. Red Bull's Rookie Cup, maybe losing his head slightly on this second lap. There you go, that's better. That's great through for chicane. Look at that drive. 2.4 behind the Japanese rider. As he's got Tatai down his inside. Once again, forced ride, maybe Stone. And so he's going wide again. Tatai looking down the inside for the first time all season long. Got some prolonged battling going on here. I know we battled a lot in a race, get through the order, but not with the same riders lap after lap. Here comes Stone in the slipstream of Salvador. Down the inside for a second. There's once again onto that curb. Oh, Salvador wide. Down the inside. And he takes over second. 1.7 second gap in front. Cooking to the points in 15th. Oh, not. Battling hard there. Just 1 point in the Brit. Battling hard. Chase down the leader. With Stone here. There you go, short shift. Save that rear tyre. Might be important for the last lap of the race. And so here we go through the final section. Just look at that battle for the last point. 15, 16, 17 all over each other. So 1.5 ahead is Salvador. There we go, turning in much in that final chicane. It really does pay off. Especially when you get drive like that off the corner. Stone leads 51.9, fastest lap. So he goes wide, the Japanese rider, and just blocks Stone. Coming back onto the circuit. Suppose he didn't do the going for number one gesture, Stone there. Restrained himself well. Bit of rear brake. Does that help the bike through that corner? Maybe slightly. Let's approach the halfway mark of what's been a frantic Dutch TT so far. 2 second lead ahead of Salvador. Well, it's the championship leader, or joint championship leader. The guy who won last time out in Mugello. This is the guy who's been 4th choice. So to watch 3 riders ahead of him. Being a class of their own, but now he might be the class here around Assen. As he takes the lead. That favourite passing spot. It's all a bit wide. You can see the bike kind of wobbling a bit. I'd say he's maybe just running slightly maybe into the marbles. And now in his favourite section. Well, he's got this straight line speed as well on everyone. 1.8 at a Japanese rider. So a bit too much pace going into the corner. But good exit. And Stone leads away on the 5th lap. Been a bit more aggressive into the first corner braking rise. And he's still got a comfortable margin there. If he needs it. I don't know, he might be pulling away now. God, Assen, do love you. Especially when it's like this. There you go, they apex got it. Get on the power. Feel that rear wheel slightly kick back when you get on the throttle, but controlled it and he's 3 seconds ahead. He's launching away from everyone. He's got a rocket here in Holland. And no one's got an answer to a guy who maybe would try and launch himself into this Red Bull Rookies Cup. Championship battle. He's gained 2 tenths in that sector as well. It's really trying to chuck the bike through the corners. Gaining confidence every lap of this race as well. That's the thing maybe he's got to sort out for the second half of the season. Are those starts in races, those first laps. Of course, it costs him majorly in a res. But also Magello stuck in the pack. And in here as well, making mistakes early on. Getting forced or getting bullied as he does break the 1 minute 50 barrier. Looking very comfortable in the lead on this penultimate lap. Putting away from everyone, so we've got to put this in the memory banks as well about Assen. At least until there's some patches. Oh, that was silky smooth getting on the throttle. No kickback from the rear. Had nothing to cry about there. And neither does Stone. No one's even appearing on his radar. .5 ahead. It's all a bit wide. Again, is there camber there? Have they removed that from that corner? I can't remember being so flat in 18 either. I have to go back maybe. Look at the videos I did. So I swear there was a bit more camber there as, here we go, flat out through both the rights. You've done it. So we broke the 1 minute 50 barrier. Now we want to break the 1 minute 49 barrier. Always pushing Stone. Even though he doesn't need to, he's... As I said, he's got no one near him. 9.5 ahead of anyone else. Nah, 50.7. And that's maybe the other point he needs to improve on. Consistency. Like you say, it's 49, then he sets a 150 almost a second slower. So did he get those at that time within like half a second? Like you see with the top guys. It's hey, you finally got that section right. Only took till the last lap of the race of the weekend to do it. But you saw he got that bike in early. Very important. Kind of sets up the rest of that corner as he gets all over the curb. God, this is so much fun in this view. Wish I did this now in earlier MotoGP games. Like, tried out this view more. I remember it changed quite a lot for 18, I think. Like, they made it a bit easier, I think, to play with this view. Can't remember once again, I have to look back, but yeah, loving it. Oh, and we're a second quicker than we were on the previous lap at that point. See? Consistency. As we go through the chicane for the final time. Using all the curves. And the fastest lap of 49.6 at the end as well. So we win by almost 18 seconds in the end. After just a few laps in the lead. How? As we have the Japanese rider in second and Salvador ahead of Tata, who ends his streak of second place finishes behind his fellow Spaniard. Then great job by the Swiss rider ahead of Fulham. And then we've got the Indonesian rider. I always get that confused with the Monaco flag for some reason, but they grabbed the top 10. Scrolling further down the home hero, Zonta in 14th with Max Cook grabbing that final point in the end, winning that battle the Brit ahead of Liebenberg. Has looking further down, you got Hernandez ran out the top 20, then Hurtas in last. So in the Riders' Championship, it's still a Japanese rider leading the way, but 4 points ahead of Salvador. Tatai further 4 points back, but look at Stone, just 10 points behind now. He's in that conversation as Jason goes into the top 5, launching himself up 3 places while the Japanese rider falls 3 places. So they've effectively just swapped places, but great job all weekend along from the Swiss rider. You've got Rouge running out the top 10. Looking further down, Max cut down a couple of places, onto down a place as well to 14. There's 15 riders score points so far this season. And Herta still in last.
His victory is the cherry on top of an exhausting weekend. If his team keeps working like this, it will be really difficult for his opponents to overtake him.
So what a perfect weekend. Look at that, first in qualifying, first in the race, fastest lapper as well. Just perfection from Kev Stone in the Netherlands. Let's check out who else won. Round Assen has, in the site Marquez, he triumphs at the Cathedral ahead of Dovi and Rins. Then in Moto 2, it's Marcel Schrotter looking very happy with his victory, the German. And then in Moto 3, got Fanati leading the way. Let's check in with the career progression. There's no real difference in qualifying objectives, race objectives, championship objectives, but look at that big fat gold medal now in the third race. As we head to the halfway mark of the season, around the Sachsenring in Germany, can Kev Stone win once again? So now watching, we will find out next time.